It wasn't a particularly hot summer in Perth, but for Charles Pratt, at times it was unbearable.
During the daytime, it's really difficult to be inside the house. I'll have the windows open trying to cool it down, and you're sweating all the time. I'm often exhausted. I don't sleep well at all. I'm always dehydrated.
He recorded temperatures as high as 39 degrees inside his rental over summer, and an entire week that hovered above 30.
I'm not sure the house is insulated. I've got a thermal camera I use at work, and I bring it inside the house and I can see the roof's always much hotter than the rest of the house.
Last summer, he had to move out of the house for 2 weeks because it was too hot. He also noticed his ADHD medication wasn't working like it should.
It took me quite a few weeks to realise that it was because they were being kept in the house and it was too hot. So I had to go and invest in buying a wine fridge to keep my medications in, just so that they wouldn't expire living in the back corner of my kitchen cupboard.
Landlords don't need to provide heating or cooling in Western Australia. Charles has done what he can, putting up a shade sail and covering windows. He's installed a portable air conditioning unit and uses pedestal fans, but he can't afford to run them all the time.
I do feel powerless. I worry if I did decide to move out of this place, I wouldn't be able to find a rental to move into, or it would be more expensive than this because the price increases and rent in WA have just been skyrocketing.
A recent survey of 200 people on low incomes by the Australian Council of Social Service found 2/3 were struggling to keep their homes cool. Charles was paid by a rental advocacy group to speak publicly after he took part in a national project tracking temperatures and humidity in the homes of 77 renters and social housing tenants.
What we found is that heat was an oppressive presence in a lot of these people's homes, affecting their sleep, affecting their cooking, affecting whether they could have friends around.
The study found maximum temperatures for some homes went well into the 40s, far above the safe maximum indoor temperature of 25 degrees.
We're in a dryland farming area, so we have very small rainfall. So we have been known to get up to 46 degrees Celsius in summer. Often on a summer's night we'll have 40-something in the day and it won't go down below 30 or 33, sometimes even at night time. The heat gets in through the bricks, through the roof, just gets the heat as long as the sun's awake.
Barbara Jardina has been living in this unit 2 hours northwest of Adelaide for 18 years. It's public housing managed by South Australia's Housing Authority.
I've had to put the only little air conditioner that I could fit in what was a window. I've put in a ceiling fan. I've had to put tinting on the windows. I sleep out in what would normally be the lounge room because that's the closest that I can get to the air conditioner and the ceiling fan.
Barbara is on a disability pension. Last summer's power bill was over $600. She's bracing for this year's.
If you're sitting there debating whether to turn on heating or cooling, it gets extremely stressful at this time of the year, trying to debate, do I have it on or how am I going to pay the bill?
South Australia's Housing Authority said tenants with a disability or recognised medical condition are supported with air conditioning, as are those in remote communities in the hottest parts of the state. Barbara installed her own air conditioning and says her application for a state government medical cooling concession was unsuccessful a few years ago.
It certainly is particularly galling when you do see public housing authorities not stepping up to the plate here.
According to the Australian Housing and Urban Research Institute, the average energy rating for the 6 million Australian homes built before 1995 is only 1.5 out of a possible 10 stars. Social housing dwellings are among the least energy efficient. Most have a very low energy efficiency rating.
Less efficient homes mean higher energy bills, effectively adding to the cost of living in that dwelling. But beyond that, there's also a health dimension here.
Hot homes affects people's health generally on those extreme weather event days, and it tends to just exacerbate existing health conditions, things like cardiovascular disease or respiratory problems.
While Australian winters are mild by international standards, for renters they can be just as tough as summer.
You'd be surprised how many Australians actually live in cold homes, and in the work that we've been doing collecting data over the last winter, we've just got the first results from 500 homes, and that suggests that 75% of Australian homes in the study never got to World Health Organisation healthy temperatures over winter.
For private rentals, some states have minimum standards for heating, but no jurisdiction mandates minimum cooling standards. Some states and territories allow public housing tenants to install their own air conditioning. Others require tenants to seek approval before installing units and ceiling fans at their own expense.
We need to both build new stock that is more energy efficient, and all of the states and territories are pursuing that agenda. We also need to repair and improve the properties we have, because we don't have the resources to build an entire new housing system.
In 2019, states and territories agreed to establish national suggested guidelines for rental properties, but not all have committed to implementing energy efficiency changes. Victoria and the ACT have already moved to introduce minimum standards on ceiling insulation.
I'd like to expect that the houses stay within a livable temperature. It just makes me frustrated at the system. I mean, what can I do? I don't know.